know we're on. So, oh look, there's the screen line, small, but
cool.
Anyway, I'll check and see. Judy will check and see. Ozark glide and swim baits. That's what we're talking about. That's the exciting thing that's happening. Of course, you have a lot more than what I have.
But maybe yours might work better, though. I don't know.
I only brought 3 with me this time. And I only brought 3 with me this time because actually like kind of looking at these baits here as baits that would catch fish for people who are beginners.
Sure.
And it's not as the bigger baits. And as we get into post spawn, sometimes you want big bait and sometimes you want small bait. And see, you didn't bring any little baits, so I'm the one that brought the little baits and you're the one that brought the big baits, Cameron.
Well, sometimes I consider these little with some of the big ones that we throw.
Right,
You know?
Yeah,
So,
but they're kind of
a medium. Yeah, I would say
like
medium.
And give them inches. So if you were to describe small, medium, and large, what would you say?
So I would say like your SPRO little guys or your little bender right there. Those are 5-inch baits.
Right.
Then it seems like here the last couple of years anyway, the like your 6.5 to 7-inch baits.
Right.
Like this is the medium bender here. Or this is the Crooked Tooth Custom Snack Shed, both very good baits, and they're that 6.5, 7-inch. It's just a nice medium-sized profile that's not too intimidating. That your 3 and 4 pounders and even your 2 pounders will still eat.
Right.
Where potentially you're not going to get some of your smaller bass, like your 12 to 13, 14 inchers, like you still would on those baits there. Now, that's not to say you're still not going to catch a big bass on a small bait. I mean, they still eat them. Yeah.
I caught some big fish on those things.
For sure.
My hooks are still bent on some gnarly stuff.
What's funny though is, when you do start throwing like an 8 or a 9-inch bait here, it's the amount of small followers that you still see chase those baits.
Right.
It's crazy. And I almost think that they're just curious at that point,
During the spring, I say they're trying to mate.
Well, for sure.
That's what it looks like. So we want to talk about post-spawn situations.
Yeah.
When you get into post-spawn situations and how you're going to deal with it with glide baits, swim baits. And so the first thing is to know where fish are going during post-spawn. So basically in pre-spawn, bass goes and they start setting up on the outside the points and secondary points, so they're staging to go into the shallow water to spawn. And then they spawn to go into shallow water, are spawning locations that are flat mostly, and good locations that are safe. And then during the post-spawn, they go, ooh, I gotta leave, and they come out of the pockets and the little cuts, and now they've come out to the points. And sometimes some people are like, they just swim around. It doesn't matter. Yeah. They're out in the middle. Yeah. There's trees that are 60 feet under, 40 feet under, and you can see that Ford's Creek, Cedar Creek, Van Hollow, Rambo, and Clifties. The list goes on and on. And so what are you going to do to catch fish when it gets to post-spawn?
No, great question. So I'm still going to look up shallow, right, on, to your point, the long points, right, that they're going to be there anyway.
Right.
And if they're there and I'm not getting bites, then I've got to where I'd really like to just pan out with my forward-facing sonar.
Right.
And man, I tell you what, it's especially on this lake here, you can really catch a lot of bass, just schoolers out, dropping your glide bait just past them, letting it sink down, get in their face, and just kind of chop it in front of them. And you'd be surprised how many bass you catch just by doing that. Yeah.
And so what I think of is topwater, areas where topwaters have produced in the past for you if you're out there fishing. That's locations where you want to start. So community places would be like all the points where people go and they fish right away. Those are good spots to go and start trying. If you're going to a spot and it's post-spawn, what lure? Did you bring your lure that you're going to throw? What's your first lure?
For sure. The first lure I'm going to grab right now is probably either going to be the snack shed or the medium bender. And again, both of these just have really good lifelike presentations to them. You can work both of these baits in a fast or choppy manner, or you can just sit there and just completely slow roll them. And both of them just seem to really produce at this time of the year. And one thing I tell you I really like about that bait there is, I mean, it's just incredibly lifelike. I mean, that looks exactly like a gizzard shad.
Yeah, it looks. I mean, if I ate gizzard shad, which I don't tell. And no one, if anyone makes a comment about that, I'll tell them that I don't. But it does look lifelike, and so that's a resin bait.
A resin bait.
So we love resins. But,
absolutely.
But it's just not. Did you bring one that's not a resin?
Yep. So we do have this one here. Okay. This is the Chimera Shad by Bait Sanity. And it does have some of that translucency to it, so you can still, use in clear water situations. And again, this bait, it being that it is ABS, it does have a sink factor to it that is a little bit faster than what your resin bait is. Right. So this is another really good bait if you're trying to sink down above some trees or rock piles or whatever, that you can really draw some fish up with it.
So transparency is important when you start to get to water clarity and in the summer. So because in the summer you're going to have a lot of clear water, even up in the river arms, and so those are going to make a difference inside there. And does this have much chop to it?
So you can chop that bait pretty good, or again, you can slow roll it. My personal preference is to slow roll it and then just give it a few bumps here and there if there's any followers right behind it to create a reaction strike. Another really good thing about that bait, or really any of them, towards the middle of the day when maybe your shad spawn's over and they've moved off, maybe not quite as actively feeding, is you can really draw up fish, especially around boat docks, on glide baits. It seems like, as I'm sure we'll talk about it in future episodes, but as we get towards the summertime, the hotter it is, the more intense that sun is out, you get the biggest glide bait you have and start chucking it in some shade lines around docks, and you'd be amazed at the fish that you'll call up with a glide bait. Now, getting the bite is another strategy, right?
getting them to bite. They're
catching them.
Landing them can be an issue too.
Yes,
so,
for sure.
So you have more of those. Talk about this one right here. Don't get to the bluegill thing yet.
Not yet. All right. So
what is that? I've never seen one of those.
So this is the bigs. It's
it's the bigs.
Yeah, this is a B1.
He's from Oklahoma.
Yeah, over by Tulsa. Yeah, so that is.
Do you know his name?
Ryan.
Biggs.
Ryan.
His
Biggs.
last name.
Yeah. Love it. Yeah, it's great. So he makes great baits. That's his. He may make one smaller than that. I think that's his 6-inch. And again, just a super good bait. You can adjust it so make it choppy if you'd like. I think I have it right there, so you can just slowly wind it in. But it's kind of that same size profile. That's kind of a tweener bait in between what you have there, some of your smaller ones, to that mid-size bait that really works.
Look at how thin that is.
Yeah, it's really unique to his design, isn't it?
Yeah, because now where's his weight location? So that's what I start thinking, like, because it's so thin right there.
So on that particular bait, I don't know that there is a weight chamber in it. I'm sure he has built something into the resin.
Right.
But so, as you can see, I have some wire, I think, wrapped around that front hook to keep it down. Or, you can just change out your rings and hooks, which those already are some pretty aggressive hooks. What are those? Probably 2. Those might be 1s, actually, because
I think these are 1s.
Yeah, those are 2s on there. So, yeah.
Man, that is crazy. I've never seen one of these in person. That's what I like when you come, because
bring out all these random baits.
Bringing out all these baits and all these big ones. Talk about some of these other ones. We'll get to that at the very end.
Yeah, that was at the end. So this was another one by Crooked Tooth Customs, and I like this one. And it's got the color to it. I think he calls that one his bright side. And again, if you're getting a lot of followers or whatever the reason, sometimes just changing them to that fluorescent color, man, really will cause a reaction.
Look at the belly. Pink is hot. Like chatterbaits and had a big run on pink, and so that is one sexy.
That bait there loves to be fished fast. That's a zip
yeah.
shad, yeah. So I mean, you can crank that sucker in, and it won't burn out. It'll stay true.
Really?
It's he makes a really nice bait, and they're fairly priced too. I think that, for example, his snack shad, that one, I want to say they're probably $70-$80.
Really?
Yeah, and it's a full resin bait. I mean,
and it's even coated.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so.
Yeah. And he does just a phenomenal job with his paint too.
Right.
Yeah, he does a really good job. So, How
much is that then?
What's that?
The one that you have there, Snapchat.
Yeah, Snapchat. Yeah, it's
how much is it?
$70.
70. How much is this?
I want to say it was right around that same price, $80. Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, under the $100 mark.
Yeah. Which is rare for a garage builder bait. I mean, you see a lot of them that that $120, $130, and I know a lot of people online have asked him and even criticized him for selling his baits so cheap, but he's just, he wants to sell baits, and so that's what he does. So.
Why is this in the package?
So this one's in the package.
Because it doesn't work?
No, the clutch doesn't work, yeah. No, it works very well. This is actually the bait that I know I've been talking about it on the NWA Glide Bait page. That when I hit the 500 followers or subscribers, whatever, on that page, I'm actually going to give it away. This is the one in the package, brand new. Just got it last week. So yeah, whenever we get 500, we're probably going to do just like one of those little wheels, right?
Yeah.
Have someone
bring
comment.
it to the show. We'll do it on the show.
That'll be fun. Yeah.
We'll kick it out to them.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Well, maybe we'll have someone comment with their favorite glide bait and biggest fish, and that's how they'll enter. But yeah, that's the one we're gonna give away. So
hey, I joined the page.
You did?
Does that count?
If
you're an administrator, so I'm not. I have enough pages.
Yes, exactly. So if your name lands, Brad, that's yours. Yeah.
Well, if it lands on my name, we'll give it to someone else.
Okay.
Because that only seems right.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but dang, that is.
Yeah.
That's a sweet bait right there.
For sure. And I really like that purple back on there. I mean, I don't know if it's going to make any difference, but it looks nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
when he does that, he doesn't paint them. It's when he pours the mold, then that paint is adhesive, and he's talked about it. But they have a formula so that it paints and puts it in there, and it's very hard. I've seen them with hammers and stuff beating them. I don't know why those builders feel like they have to beat their baits up to show how tough they are, but
we saw Travis throw one across the parking lot, remember?
And he's still doing that. But I mean, these are really tough. So I had clients out last week, 2 days, and they did, according to what happened at the FLW Tour, the BPT event, Bass Pro Tour, Major League Fishing. Each day, one guy had 4 pounds, and so they were biting these. But the reason why the pros didn't go with those is because they got to use their scope time to catch as many 1.5 pounders as they could.
Right.
And in reality, that might fizzled out in the clear water, and the dingy water came up strong.
Yep.
And they were not. Wesley Strader, who finished in second place, I fished with Wesley Strader a bunch, and he has glide baits.
Okay.
Believe me, he has lots of glide baits. And if they would have been biting on him, he would have used them.
He would have been on them.
And as I interviewed the pros, each one, especially Drew Gill, I should tag this. I'd be like, Drew, use the Swimbait today. And he said, not today, Brad.
Not today.
I'm like, oh, man.
I really wanted you to.
I want you to use one because I'm trying to get any information he might have.
Sure.
But for right now, for people in Northwest Arkansas, and to find things that are coming to the season that we're in, and the water clarity and stuff like that, the best place to go is where on Facebook would they go? Maybe NWA.
Yeah, NWA Glide Bait and Swimbait. Yeah, that'd be a good place to start, maybe to learn a little bit. I think there's some pretty good OGs in that group that are glad to help and definitely offer assistance any way they can. One of them being right here.
We're getting there. We're working hard.
Yeah.
that takes us up to this bait right here. So SPRO set me up with a couple of their little guy, and these have been good baits in situations where the water's super clear. The water's got to be clear, or it's not a player in it because of how these things react in the water, and they are hard chopping fish, and you bump them, and they're bump, bump, bump. I mean, you can bump them a whole bunch of times, and so far they've been pretty resistant to like being thrown and maybe hitting a rock or two. I would not want to hit a whole bunch of rocks, but it is, brush tail again, and big eyes, which are big eyes. If you ever look at all these baits, almost all of them have big eyes.
Yep.
And so that's kind of important. This one, actually, they only have 3 colors in this.
Oh, really?
In this size, and the other one is like a bone color, a yellow bone color, traditional bone color. So the only 2 on that, and I do have the bigger ones, but I'm going to show that the next time, because I've caught some fish on it. I want to catch some more fish on it, and the difference between a 7-inch bait, 180 millimeters, and these smaller 5-inch baits is, what's going to bite it? What size fish is going to bite it in your presentation? And so that's the reason why I brought these, is because I figured you were bringing the bigs, and actually the bigs.
Yeah, the bigs.
And so these are small, and so the presentation's small. So people that are first starting out, beginning, these are nice. This little bender. These are nice baits for for that. I'm super proud that I haven't knocked an eye out. Or one of my clients throwing the baits
hasn't broken in half.
Haven't hit a rock and the eye bump out. Yeah. And so to me that's always good. We left that one right there. Yeah.
The bluegill head.
Yeah, and so bluegill. And so when you talk about that, I'm going to go run and I'm going to grab a couple bluegills.
Sure. No, absolutely. So yeah, I mean the bluegill. This is a great time from now and throughout entire fry garter season, and as we're entering that time frame where the bass are fry guarding, and the bluegill spawn is going on. Bass just absolutely hate bluegill, brim, whatever you want to call them, and they'll absolutely start chewing on them. So now is a good time to pick up your bluegill type imitation, whether it's a glide or like this is just a soft boot tail swim bait, and really tie one on and start bringing those in, because I mean it is time right now to start throwing some bluegill baits. So
yeah, and I look at bluegill baits. I start looking and seeing if there's brim beds around. So being on the water almost every day, especially when I'm here, I'm on the water, or I can walk down the boat dock and I can see what's happening, is I start looking for them around boat docks. You'll start seeing them around boat docks, and that's what you're looking for. And also, like down at our dock, if we start throwing some breadcrumbs and stuff out, they'll just pretty soon they start showing up, and I know right away that bites on. I also see that post spawn situation is also kind of the same time when the bluegills start moving up and shallow. But what happens before that is the shad spawn, and the shad spawn is pretty simple to explain, because God has made it so that that He has food for the fish, and so after they reproduce and they go to post spawn, those fish are looking for meals. They're skinny. You can see the fish. Some of the fish that I've been catching they're skinny, and so they're post spawn. They're waiting for the shad spawn. Shad spawn has been on, and then we got 3 cold days, turned off, and then there's shad spawn, where normally shad spawn on Beaver Lake, it starts at one end and it works its way down. Well, this year, an odd year, the water's not real high, and so one day it might be, down here in the river arms,
Mm-hmm.
and it starts usually around 6:40, 6:35. If I was fishing, I make sure my boat I was in 6:35, somewhere 6:30, and I'd start looking for that shed spawn. And then the shed spawn usually works up its lake to Lost Bridge and works all the way up to the dam. But this year we got a pocket here and we got a pocket there, but usually there's like a big kind of a wave that happens. And the islands around Point 12 or the islands around the Highway 12 bridge that's a great place. And it also is a great place because we've been talking mostly about bass, but those stripers will come in and they'll start feeding on the shad spawn too. So I know they've been around the Venturous Ramp. I mean, they've been in some areas where the shad spawn is. It's just kind of been sporadic this year. I brought 2 baits. These are they're actually little ones in a sense, but they look right. These are both live target. They don't make this one anymore. I only have one.
Don't lose that
left, and so this has been really good. And they're more of a wake bait. They go in the category of like when I'm grabbing glides, wake baits.
Kind of the same.
They fish, they fit in there. And then this one's also a live target, and it's another.
That's nice.
It's another brim.
I've never seen that one before.
Yeah, and it's another one of those baits that is more of a wake style. So I haven't. I threw one day because I saw a couple of one spot when it was up in Nelson's, and I saw some bluegills around it. I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm going to tie it on, and so that's why I had to go get on my tucket. So. But I mean, that's what you're looking for. Like especially once they start getting on the bed, what happens is the bluegills, they eat the bass eggs and fry, and then when the brim go to spawn, then the bass come and they
just
eat the
bluegills. On the bluegill.
It's like a reverse
cycle of life.
They get their revenge. So that's probably the most interesting thing that happens on the lake.
What about multi-joints? Do you ever throw a multi-joint?
I had one till I lost it.
So I know
Travis gave me one, and I caught fish on it, and then I pretty much lost it. Broke my rod tip, my good glide bait rod.
Oh man,
that was a very expensive thing.
So this is the just the Mike Buka bull shad. This is like one of the OG baits that Mike had from the very beginning. 6-inch, just in the gizzard color. Very good bait. So, in your opinion, and I genuinely don't know, so I'm asking, when is the best time to throw a multi-joint bait versus, say, a glide bait?
I think once the water temperature starts warming up and something where they want something that's faster, more of a reaction, a fast reaction, a chop, and a bump, or chop, any of those, it's a slow. It's a slow. It's going back and forth fast, but it's not moving forward fast. And so, especially when they're looking up in clear, deep water, it's more of like buzzing it. And what happens here is, like with Mike's, is you can take a spinnerbait. They've been doing it on Beaver Lake forever. Ask Keith Bashirs. He makes, he made spinnerbaits that were heavier, compact, but you could buzz them. And the fish are actually just kind of looking up. They're suspending trees, and that's when I think that they want like a joint bait, one that's going faster and moving. Moving in the sense of
getting away.
They see that, and then they come up and they commit. And sometimes they commit fast, and sometimes it's amazing how fast they come up and they go down.